Don't laugh. Okay. Okay.
All right. Welcome to the Random Movie Review Show. Random because you never know when we're going to show up. And today you're here with Miss Hannah and Chubbs, like it used to be. And we're going to be talking about two movies today. And the first one, why don't you introduce it, ma'am?
Oh, you want me to? We're gonna talk about Ted and Venus. This is a Bud Court movie. And it is dedicated to Ruth Gordon, his co-star from Harold and Maude, the 1971 movie about an age gap couple that really had awesome times together. They were in love. Um, so this movie is dedicated to her. It's not really a sequel, and it's not really. It doesn't really have. It's the only thing that's the same about it is the age gap thing, but it's a completely different movie. It's its own thing. But it is a Bud Court movie. He wrote and directed this movie, and yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So
Yeah, I had never seen it. I was impressed one on how many people were in it, but first I'd like to talk about Mr. Bud or Walter Cox, if you will. That's his real name. He's 75 now, and he's been in so much stuff. Like he was in the original MASH movie.
mm-hmm. And
You know,
Bruce
he
Turner.
was for our comic book fans. He was the Toy Man, the voice of Toy Man in Justice League and Superman the animated series.
I didn't know that. Really?
Yeah, for a
Wow.
couple years, he was the Toy Man.
He was in
Which is,
a made-for-TV movie, Brave New World, too.
well, this movie here, I like that it's Jim Brolin, or as we know, James Brolin, who would shortly after this movie be known for Amityville Horror as
Mm-hmm.
James Brolin. But here he's old Jimmy Brolin playing a pothead, I guess.
Like a hippie guy, like his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Carol Kane, Rhea Perlman, Woody Harrelson for about 2 seconds. I don't know.
Oh, there's something interesting. Carol Kane, that is Bud
Hmm.
Cort's wife in real life. So I thought that was kind of
Really?
interesting. He put his wife in the movie as the hooker,
Yeah. Didn't
but
she pass, by the way?
oh
Or am
my
I
gosh,
wrong?
no, I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
She's
I
in
hope not.
Family and she's in tons.
License to Drive. She was the
Oh,
mom in License to Drive.
she's in Scrooge. Remember? She's like the
Yeah,
fairy. She's so funny.
that's a
She's
great
very
movie.
funny. I really like her. Um, and I think it was cute how he put her in the movie. You know, I
Well,
know some people put their wives in their movies too much, but I thought it was cool that he did that.
no, only Rob Zombie puts his wife in too
That's
many
what I was
movies.
talking about when I wasn't trying to name drop, but that's who exactly I was talking about. But I
Look,
thought,
there. I've seen people talk about him and they go, "Look, your wife's cute, we get it, but every movie, like seriously, she did play a good Myers mom. I'll give her that.
and she was fine in the House of a Thousand Corpses and stuff. I just
That
didn't really.
too.
The monsters is something I don't like people to touch, so that one was like, don't do that, please.
No,
But
we'll pretend that doesn't exist.
yeah, we will. Oh, so let's get back to the movie. We kind of went
Yeah,
on.
basically the way I took it because I hadn't seen it till just the other day. You know, it's a story about being in love with somebody, but it could be turned into a stalker thing if it's not felt
Mhm.
the other way. Um, Now we're gonna spoil this, so if people haven't seen it, you gotta work around that. But um, I kind of guessed the ending as soon as she bought a gun. I was like, oh no, I think I know what's coming.
Mhm.
And but it is a lesson on if somebody tells you to stop, you kind of gotta stop because he went a little too far.
He did go too far, but I do want to kind of let's go to the beginning, right? So
Okay.
he's this guy. Seems real like he seems like a nice guy, even though he's like kind of
Well,
likes to
he's
write poetry and
he's on
uh
disability. I don't
yeah
think he's a vet, but some people are in the movie.
yeah no he's on disability because he's got mental problems. But he's looking for a new apartment, and he ends up meeting Linda. She's super nice to him. He kind of gives him the wrong vibes, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and she's real pretty and stuff, and he's instantly attracted to her. Um, and I personally think she should have told him that she had a boyfriend a little sooner. I think she kind of did lead him on a little bit. So I
Yeah.
am kind of thinking like she kind of messed with his head too. Um, because he invited her out and stuff. Like I guess like it could have been like a friendly thing, but then it's like she kind of. I feel like she let him on a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, she went to his poetry reading, which he's a poet by trade. At least they say he won awards and was famous
Mhm.
for poems.
Yeah, and
So
he wrote that poem about her, and I really like that scene where he's reading his poetry and they have the little animation. Remember that scene? I thought that was kind of
yeah,
cool.
because he's all buff and everything.
Yeah, he's like got all this like his fantasy and stuff. I thought that was a really cool artsy kind of scene, and it kind of was different from anything else in the movie. So that was like one of my favorite parts of it. And I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of emotions towards that character because he seems like a nice guy, but does get creepy. He does go too far. But then there's just so much like empathy I feel for him. Like even when he goes to court and stuff, like um, all the stuff that came out about him that we didn't know later. It's pretty shocking. But you still
Yeah,
feel bad because he's got like the brain of a young guy or something. Like um, you could tell doesn't have a lot of experience with girlfriends. You could tell like I don't know if he's ever had a girlfriend. It seems like so he's acting like an immature 14-year-old in this situation. When it comes to his feelings for Linda. Um, but there's just a lot of empathy I feel for the guy. Like yeah, he's kind of a creep, but he's kind of sweet in a way too. But then he's like he's got mental issues. Like you know,
yeah. I found I was rooting for him at first, and
me
like you
too.
said, you find out he was a teacher, kissed a 15-year-old girl, but says it was a kiss of a woman. So
That was
you
a
get that
really unsettling
you.
scene.
It's like he can't separate it, like in the difference. So
Yeah, that was like very unsettling when he said that. But then I'm also thinking this is a really mentally ill guy. That's why he's on disability. You don't get disability for mental problems unless you really have something wrong with you. You know. So
yeah,
he obviously struggles. And his he gets just so obsessed with her. That's all he can think about. He just like any chance he can, he goes and bothers her and stuff, and he calls her all the time. Her boyfriend ends up breaking up with her, I think, over it, right? Like he just kind of like, I'm done with this.
yes. Eventually, she says the guy left. By the way, the boyfriend was the bad guy in the movie Cobra with Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, that's who he looked familiar. I just didn't know he's like that guy with a scary
Yeah,
and stuff.
he was in Terminator for a
Joe
second.
Dirt. Was he in Joe Dirt by any chance? I feel like I've seen him in
I
that.
don't think so. It's been a while since I've seen that, but
I
he could have
think he
been.
wasn't he like the Buffalo Bill like look-alike guy or whatever. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
maybe
think
I could
so.
be like I could just be stupid, but I thought that was him. Oh, there was like okay, what was it like when she was skating and stuff? You remember she was just like out skating and he grabbed her and stuff. That was kind of scary. Like I feel like if I was in that situation, that would really creep me out. I just don't.
Well, he kept peeking over the dirt hill and then came running out with his arms open.
Yeah, and his friend, remember his friend bought him that hooker that was like uh, by who played her again? I can't remember her name.
Carol King.
Carol King. Yeah, that's right. He like said, okay, maybe you can forget about Linda for a while. Here's a hooker. So I gave her $85 or whatever, and then he just wanted her to pretend to be Linda. So that didn't really work. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna leave, and then he goes out to pursue Linda again, and he ends up getting in serious trouble, right? Like
Gets
he
a restraining order, eventually breaks that and goes to jail.
hmm then he
And
ends up in a mental hospital.
And they mention he's been to those before and he hates them
Hmm.
because the medicine makes everybody drool. And it's like, well, that's kind of true, but
Yeah,
you know. And
he
then he
didn't.
easily breaks out of that place. By the way,
Hmm.
kicks the
Um,
soccer ball down the street and runs
that
after it.
was pretty hilarious. He found a way to escape. And he's like, "I'll get it" or whatever. Then he just kicked the ball out of the area. Then he went straight back to stalking Linda. He ended up taking his clothes off though. Remember, in his regular clothes were underneath his like mental hospital clothes. That was kind of funny. It was like
Yeah.
something in a cartoon or something. And then go straight back to messing with Linda. Like he cannot stop. He gets crazy with it.
Yeah. There's a lot of sex in the movie. Like when he and James Brolin are walking on the beach, there's just two people having sex under a blanket.
There's boobs
You
in this
know,
one too.
yeah, you see Linda's boobs
Yeah.
for some
And
weird,
Anthony's
like it
boobs too.
didn't, you didn't need it, but okay.
I think yeah, they just wanted to put boobs in it, whatever.
Well, this is the 70s, and I like those movies because everything's practical. Somebody had to put thought behind
Actually,
writing the dang thing.
it's the 90s, right?
Is it?
Yeah, it was 1991, but it's supposed to be
Uh,
in the 70s.
Still, they didn't have like
Yeah, the
effects in the
70s vibe.
movie.
Yeah, it's very like they did a good job keeping it 70s vibe. Um,
Yeah, because Linda's friend wears all the wigs with like rainbow colored afro, and he
yeah.
buys he has his shoes are really like the platform shoes, and then I thought
Oh
that
yeah,
was neat.
the bell bottoms and all that stuff. And Woody Harrelson is in this. For some reason, they put him on the cover, but he's just like a homeless guy in it for like five
He's a
seconds.
glorified extra living in a box
Yeah, he's a
with the
veteran.
American flag over it.
Uh,
But Linda
Um,
gives him some carrots.
that was kind of funny how they put him on the cover because I think it has something to do with him just being a bigger star or something later. So they put him on the cover when he's not even really a star of it. So when I first saw the cover, I thought he was gonna have a bigger role in it. So I was kind of like, okay, like that's it. Like he's like the crippled war veteran for 2 seconds. Okay,
I was waiting for him to come back in the movie, and he didn't. I was like,
I
okay,
know, like you know.
but
And
it's
Small
it's
Dog did all the music for the movie, so that was cool too. Which is like
yeah,
70s, 70s
yeah.
music.
There's a
But
lot of people in it. I must say, like every time I'm a scene, there's a new person that's famous popped up. Like I said, Rhea Perlman is in her, I guess, support group. I don't know. They didn't say what that group was supposed to be, and she
hmm
teaches him how to hurt him by pulling on his junk.
oh yeah, she was telling him like to grab his balls or something.
Go get some prunes, put them in a sock, and you hang them on the door, and you practice pulling on them. And I'm like, no, let's
That
not do that. Like,
that's super violent and crazy. But then he does something so psycho, and he goes to her place, and then he has like a chainsaw, and he said he's gonna cut his fingers off or his hand or something if he
yeah,
don't like him.
his
That was
fingers.
Yeah, his fingers like that was so crazy. That was probably the craziest thing he did.
And then ended up cutting half her place apart.
Yeah, he because he's like didn't know what he was doing. I don't think, and then that was probably isn't that what pushed him to get arrested though?
Uh, I'm trying to think if that was before or after. By the way,
I
Martin Mull was his lawyer. That was cool.
oh oh yeah, he was on Roseanne, right?
Yeah, he was in Clue as Colonel
Mm-hmm.
Mustard, one of my
Oh,
faves.
oh yeah, the Tim Curry movie.
Hmm.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time. I know what you're talking about. I didn't even realize that he was in that.
We can do a retrospective on that one day.
Oh, we should just do a whole Tim Curry show because he's been in
We
so
could
many
do
good.
that too.
He's been in so many good movies. Look at his career.
Yeah. Well, he's in a wheelchair now. I like to do something out of respect.
Well, we're gonna be completely respectful. He's amazing. Call the great
Yeah.
movies done. Celebrate
Like
him.
like it, the real
Yeah.
Pennywise.
Yeah, and he was in Annie, and he played Satan in a movie. And
Legend?
yeah, he's
That's not Satan. His name
yeah.
is the Darkness, and he has a father, and that's Satan. At least it's supposed to be. It's a fairy tale world, so I don't know.
I
He's
don't
called the
know. When you
Darkness,
say
though.
Satan to me, that's like what I think of when I think of Satan. And
Well,
it's probably
anyway,
Tim Curry, but well, okay, he's the son of Satan. But he was also the what was he, the evil wardrobe in like the Beauty and the Beast Christmas special, and he was pretty awesome in that too.
I haven't seen that one.
It's like it was just like a little like 30-minute like Christmas special that Disney did in the 90s. You know, for the 90s kids out there, I used to watch it every year. I had it on VHS because that's how old I am. And Tim Curry's in that, and he was really good. And he did like he sung in it too because he does do music too. I don't know why we're
Right.
talking about Tim Curry. I'm sorry. We need to
Now
save
we'll
that
get
a show
we'll
for.
get to him one day.
We will. Okay, so where do we address what happened with the prison situation? Because that was pretty bad.
Yeah, his they come to steal his candy and
Hmm.
rough him up a little bit. And I don't know if it's implied they try to do something sexual to him. They don't show it.
I think it was pretty obvious what was happening.
So you think that's what they were doing?
I think so. Like, you know, the guy with the high heels came out, so then the big macho dudes, and then they pulled their pants down, and then it looked like he like bit somebody's genitals off. So that's what I think happened.
Yeah, I didn't want to. Like I said, they kind of imply it. I thought like
Well, they can't
he
obviously
did.
show that. That'd be so graphic.
They showed boobies, so
I
well,
know, but
yeah. Back
see,
then,
like somebody's bits being bit off, like that would be
I don't
crazy.
think they could show. You could. Well, technically, you could show male genitalia just as much as the frontal of a woman, but most people don't even try it. But one example is American
Use the wig,
Gigolo. You can see. Wait,
the
what?
wig. Don't they use the wigs? The merkins or what are they called?
Oh, cod pieces and stuff.
Well, I forgot what
Like
they're called, but they're like I don't know why we're talking about that, but you know what I'm talking about. Like
it's in the movie. Like they didn't show it. That it's implied, but they could have. But I guess you can't fake biting that off if you need a fake piece and all that stuff. But
I
yeah,
pretty much
he's
understood what happened. Like I got it. You know, it's like
yeah
he and that's really like pretty traumatizing. It sounds like I think that changed him after the whole prison thing seemed to change him because he kind of wasn't even gonna go mess with her anymore after that. He was just like, you know,
yeah because he ends up under the pier, his head shaved, and when this woman with the dog shows up, he talks different. He's very low key. He's
hmm.
not anything like he is in the other parts of the movie. So he's definitely different. And all this lady does is reel him in to make fun of him.
Oh, I know that was pretty mean. Like
And
totally humiliated him. And I think she also triggered him too because she's like, he's gonna come here and talk about his poetry. And I don't really think he wanted to talk about poetry anymore. I think he's traumatized after like the Linda thing and the prison thing and like all the stuff that I don't think he wanted anything to do with his old poetry. So that was pretty evil. I mean, that she
yeah,
set him up like that. And he ran out and he had like the what was the Uncle Sam hat and stuff on and he was crying and he ended up running into Linda because Linda was hanging out with her friends, but he wasn't even messing with her. But she was like, "Oh my gosh, it's a psycho's over here messing with me again." So she totally
yeah.
misread that situation completely. Um,
Well, he did come running at her with his arms up in the air.
I know, but like it wasn't towards her. Like he was traumatized. He was going through something else, but it just
Yeah.
happened to be that timing, that really bad timing, that he runs into
Well,
her.
that as they say in the movie business or movie making, that's for us. Like we get it. We
Hmm.
saw what happened to him. She's on the other end, but like I said, once I knew she she bought a gun. I kind of guessed what was going to happen, but I didn't want to, but it did. And she defended herself. And even when he's shot, he gets the gun. You think he's going to shoot her, but he throws it in the water and he says somebody could get hurt. And then she forgives him. He passes away in her arms. The
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, he takes the gun. He's like, "You stupid idiot! You could hurt somebody." And then he's all
That was
sorry
good.
for that. And
I
then
like
yeah,
that. If he didn't die, yeah, but I like that scene because it shows like she got it at the end, but it was too late.
yeah, and also it does show like that he did have an obsession with her, but he was never violent. Like he never had any intention to hurt her. It's just like he
No.
really wanted to be with her, but it got too he went too far. Like she was obviously not into him, and he just got too crazy about it. Got too obsessed.
Well, one problem was his poetry got a little explicit at the towards as you move
Oh,
on.
he wanted her teeth on his rod and stuff. It got really
Yeah, he kept using the P word eventually. She's like, really, guy? What are you doing?
it was making her really uncomfortable. Um, and I don't think his intentions were bad, but yeah, it made him super uncomfortable. Or made her super uncomfortable, not him. Um,
I
but
think
yeah,
it's a good lesson in going too far.
I think so too. And it shows like that there's a lot of people with like mental illness and stuff, and it's a real problem, especially in America. There's a lot of people that have obsessions and stuff with people. If even if it's a celebrity or whoever, like somebody online or somebody they just met at the grocery store, people do get like obsessed and stuff, and they take it too far. It's like you try to give somebody the hint, like dog, like leave me alone, and they don't. It can be scary to be the person in Linda's shoes. I think for sure. You know,
Yeah.
I felt bad for her, but there was thing like I said, I think she should have told him I have a boyfriend. I think she should have said that sooner. And quit hanging out with him all the time, making him think like you like him, like because she would like go and hang out with him all the time, and she didn't ever mention the boyfriend. Like it took so long before she said I have a boyfriend. So like that was, I felt like it was a bit misleading, to him. You know.
And because she was a what community research resources,
Hmm.
he was able to just walk in her office.
Yeah.
She
Um,
couldn't lock the door.
I know, but also, I think it was so obvious from day one that he liked her. I think like any girl could read that, like, oh, he likes me, like I don't see him like that, or I have a boyfriend. Like, she could have just laid down the law right then and there and just been like, let's be friends. But and I'm not trying to victim blame. I'm just saying like, like I think she should have been just honest with him.
Yeah, because he kept mentioning, I saw you coming out the beach, out the water, and that never happened. It was all in his head.
Oh, really? I thought that he did see her one day, but like that was before he met her, right?
Right, and then like he kept visioning like her on a horse and with him and like stuff that never happened.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He kept making up like it was like maybe delusions or something.
Yeah, and he didn't have to go on the intercom like when the boyfriend showed up. He goes, "You had your tongue in the intercom. What are you doing?"
Oh, yeah, that was right. That he was being super dirty and nasty. Remember that? The
Yeah, and he did
boyfriend's
the
like,
old.
she doesn't want to
Go
talk to
ahead.
you, bro. No, her boyfriend's like, she don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, but he kept saying I'm in love with you, and then eventually he says we're in love, and she's like, no, like
Yeah.
I don't know you like that. And that's the key. Like people can't sometimes differentiate the
Mhm.
difference. Like
Yeah.
you may like somebody, especially like with YouTube now. Like you may watch somebody all the time, but they
Mhm.
don't even know who you are.
Yeah,
You're a name.
you can kind of know them from what they put out, but they don't know you. And
Yeah.
that and also like, people can create like imaginary scenarios, I guess, like when people get infatuated with somebody, like um that stuff happens a lot, people have like this idea that because I watch this person all the time, they know me and stuff. Like I've had people like that on YouTube with me. They've watched like a ton of my videos, and they're like, "How come you don't know who I am?" Or like they'll be like, "Remember me?" I'm like
Yeah.
not to be hateful. It's like, no, I don't remember you. Like, we're not friends. Like it's fine if you watch, but like I don't know you.
Yeah, I've been in somebody's chat and they kept not answering whatever I put in. And I got upset for a second. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm just a name. I'm just
Yeah,
a name on a list.
yeah,
And
that's
it
the
is
thing.
upsetting. It's sad. We get to know somebody personally, but like it's not the other way. Now, this movie's a little different. Like you said, she does, give in to him, shows up to his poetry reading and, interacts with
Super
him.
nice to him. Yeah, super nice to him. Um,
But he also doesn't take a hint. Like she has to tell him a lot. Like, okay, and he breaks her violin or whatever that sitar, whatever she has.
oh yeah.
And she's
Hmm.
like, "That was my mom gave me that, man." And
Yeah, that
that's when
was.
you see his platform shoes.
Oh yeah, like he's so 70s in that movie. I think they did a great job at keeping it very 70s authentic and stuff.
I thought it was filmed in the '70s. I really did.
No, you didn't even know it was
Well,
1991.
I also don't read the blurbs on the back of movies or uh, movie info to try and not because it gives away the premise half the time now.
Oh really? Well,
So
yeah.
I thought it
Oh
was,
yeah. Trailers sometimes too do too. Like it would be like, you
yeah.
ruined the movie. Like show me everything. Like now I don't want to watch
Plus,
it.
the backdrop to this movie is the Nixon problem. When
Oh yeah.
Nixon get like that's the whole backdrop of the movie. He's always on TV. They're always talking about it, and it's when he got busted for being a crook. And I'm like, oh, so maybe this is filmed in the '70s. But I like that it wasn't because if you don't have a clue, they did a good job.
Yeah, they kept it like they kept the vibes and stuff. Like you were talking about the wigs and like just the funky clothes and stuff, and then
Yeah,
like the president at the time. So it does make sense.
roller
But
skating
yeah, the skating, I love skating.
that came
So
back. It came back. So
and it's crazy though because okay, like this was 1991, so he filmed Harold and Maude in 71, right? He was much younger.
'71.
He was
Oh
very
yeah.
baby faced in that movie. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like he was, I
Even
think,
Mash, he looks. They do a good job.
like 25. I think in Harold the Mod, and he
Mhm.
looked like a teenager. He had like a baby face and like little chubby cheeks and stuff. He's dating that really old lady, but she ends up being really cool. Um, yeah, we're gonna do a review on that too. Remember we were talking about that.
Yeah, because that lady was in one of my favorite movies, Foul Play,
Ruth Gordon. That was her
for a
name.
little bit.
Oh yeah, so we definitely need to pay tribute to Harold and Maude because that's super iconic.
There's still a meme from How I Met where he yells, "What?"
Really, there's a memes of
It,
that.
people made a meme out of it. I see
I
it now
didn't
and again.
know that. Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Remember, he was pretending to be crazy in that movie because he didn't want to go to the freaking army. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for that one, and he repeatedly tries to take his life, and it's like traumatizing if you're not expecting it. But that's the point,
Yeah, well, there's a reason why he kept doing that. Like he explained why he felt like the only time he felt like anybody cared about him whenever his mom thought he was dead or something. So he was always trying to feel that love again. Because the only time he felt love was like when people didn't even think he was around. So it kind of like
right?
it's like a mental thing, I guess.
Yes, just like this movie, he pulls off the mental thing pretty good. Like you can see when he's upset. You can
Mhm.
see like in when Jimmy Brolin there visits him in prison, he breaks down and he's like, "I got to get out of here." And then Max goes to visit Linda
Mhm.
and to try and get the judge to forgive him and let him off, which really ain't gonna happen. But
Yeah.
that's what he
Um,
thinks.
I think he's a good actor.
Oh, of course.
I think he's a really good actor because of like I felt so bad for him in this movie, and a lot of time, like like when we talked about like the court thing, it's kind of like that's disturbing, but I still am feeling bad for him. Like he's really sick in the head. Like like he can't really help that he has this like these behavior issues. And like he has like maybe he had like some kind of OCD or whatever, like obsessive or something. I mean, I guess he's obsessed with a person. I don't know if that's the same thing, but he just you could tell he wasn't all there at all. You know,
And they show how mental hospitals don't really help.
they
I mean, they're
don't.
better. They're better now. I'll give them that. But back then, it was just we'll stick you in a room with a TV, and he figured out how to escape because yeah, he had some problems, but he was still very smart. He could
Hmm.
write poetry. He could do all that, but you know, you can't just like jump break into somebody's room with a chainsaw, like you said. Like
Yeah.
there's a line. He crossed that line.
Hmm. Um. And the hospital. I don't know. I feel like mental hospitals are just like dope people up. Let's do shock treatment. Let's do all these things, and you know, um, people just being doped up. It doesn't seem like they're living a productive life and stuff. Like I do think some medications help and stuff because I have family members that have mental issues and like they hear voices and stuff and when they take their medicine they don't. So like I can't like completely say it's all bad, but there's just all different types of like chemicals wrong with our brains and stuff. Everybody's
Yeah.
different, so you got different treatments for different people and stuff. I would keep it natural if it was me struggling with that stuff, but that's just like my personal opinion on it.
Well, my big question is why didn't they name the movie Ted and Linda?
I don't know what the Venus is about either.
I think I have a guess on that. He runs into a very short Oriental woman that he
Hmm.
sees once or twice, and she goes, "You got to be careful. Mars is in retrograde." I think it's an astrological thing because he says like some numbers are bad, like $75 is bad because 75 is a bad
Oh yeah,
number.
he's into numerology.
I think that's the case, but they don't bring it up enough to where that name makes sense.
He
Like
also he would call her that in his poems for some reason. He'd say she's my Venus, whatever. I don't know.
I was thinking the whole women are from Venus, men are from Mars, but maybe like they don't get into it too much.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's just something that wasn't explained. But I think it's a great movie. It's very like I don't know if it's low budget or maybe more independent. I guess it's more like made for TV. Like it wasn't a in the theaters or nothing.
No, I think it was filmed well. I recommend it to people if they have like, a little time to sit down and watch something that you need to use your brain because
Hmm.
there's enough going on to make you think, and you can relate to some things like being in love, but you also got to understand when it's too far. Like that's to me, that
Boundaries.
was the key. Yeah,
Yeah, boundaries. Like he didn't have any boundaries. It's like he didn't have a filter or boundaries. It's like it's okay to love her, but like you have to let her like live in peace if you actually care about her. You have to let her do if she's not into you, like just let her live her life. You
yeah.
can have those
Max.
feelings if you can't control them, but you don't gotta be a creep.
Yeah, Max tells him at one point, "It's time to move on to a new chick, man." You know.
Mhm.
That's what it sounds like to me. And I love James Brolin in this movie, by the way. Like that was awesome for him.
Yeah. He was a good friend, when he was looking out.
Yeah.
Like he even grabbed his stuff when they kicked him out of his apartment. Like he was his friend, and you know,
Visit him in prison.
yeah. Like I did feel kind of bad for him after he got out of prison. He was calling all his friends and all that, and they were all like busy having sex and stuff, and they wouldn't hang out with him. I was like, that's kind of sad, because he just went through that traumatizing thing in prison, and there's nobody there to hang out with him.
Yeah. One is that Oriental girl who shows up naked to the door who says, I'm having sex. I got to go. And it's like,
Oh
okay.
yeah, and then his friend Max was like that too. He was like with some girl getting so it's
Yeah.
like, I'll talk to you later, bro. I'm busy, you know. But what do you rate it?
We going out of 10 or letters like ABC?
Um, let's do numbers, right?
Do-
Are we gonna rate it by numbers? Was that what we said, or did you say letters?
Yeah, we used to, so that's fine. 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. I would give it a proper 8.
I'll probably give it about an 8.5 because of it's so different from any movie I've ever seen before. Um,
Yeah.
and the acting is great by everybody. Um, it's very suspenseful. There's a lot of emotions I had when I watched it, like um, feeling bad for Bud Court, and then like being like, okay, he's going too far. Feeling bad for Linda, like there's just like tons of raw emotions I felt watching it. You know, feeling bad for
And you
everybody.
don't, I'll say I didn't know, what was going to happen next. It was nice to be like, okay, well, what's he going to do? And what's she going to do? And,
Yeah.
every time it's a little different, you know. So,
It
and by the way, it's
definitely
on
got more
Tubi.
extreme too. Oh, it is on
Yeah.
Tubi. It's free on Tubi, which is cool because it's hard to find this movie usually. So
That's why I watched it.
I know, like Tubi is great, y'all. It's a free thing, and they have tons of like good movies on there. You
Yeah.
know, they put a lot of the classics on there, and then a lot of weird movies you haven't heard of. Like I've watched tons of the stuff
Yeah.
I've never seen that I've seen on Tubi.
Yeah. So we highly recommend.
Yeah, we recommend Ted and Venus. So is that like it for the review?
Yeah, we can
Broke
move on to
everything down. Okay.
our next one.
I gotta pee. Can I pause this?
Yeah,
Okay, and we're back, guys.
that's right. Now we're talking about my pick for the show, the Lucio Fulci classic, The Beyond from 1981. Filmed
Mhm.
down here in New Orleans. Me and Max have visited the house in the movie. It's
Oh, cool.
you can tour it now. It's just for show. But in the movie, the main character inherits the house as a hotel with a surprising past dealing with a warlock who, in the beginning, he's tortured and beaten. And Lucio Fulci passion, he loves when people get hurt, the blood coming out, and
Ooh, yeah.
he's
Mhm.
big on that one, boy. By the way, this movie is part of a trilogy about the
Oh.
seven gates of hell. One being here in New Orleans. There's a movie called The House by the Cemetery, and he uses the same actress. That's Catherine McCall, is her name, and
Mhm.
she's in most of his movies in different roles. But yeah, in this one, she inherits the hotel. They're not to go into room 36, which
Mhm.
that's where you see him pinned to the wall later on,
I
and
was
the
gonna
nails.
bring that up about the 36. I kept seeing the 36. I didn't know what that meant, or is it just the room that he died in?
That's well, that's the road they say don't go in. And when she goes in there, she sees him in there,
Mhm.
nailed to the tub or the wall in the bathroom. And when she brings somebody else in there, there's just the nail sticking in there.
Mhm.
You have the weird uh, caretaker who that's the guy who disappears in the basement. We don't have basements here, so that's a lie.
Mhm. Oh, what?
Or that's where Joe the plumber goes, and you get the warlock's hand come out the wall and pushes his eyes out of his socket.
What was the what like in the beginning scene? So I guess I'll start from the beginning, right?
Yeah,
Um, they were like, "Oh, this warlock dude," or they all had the pitchforks and the torches and stuff, and they what was it, acid or something they threw on his face? Like,
I don't
what was
know.
that?
It looked like milk, but it's not. They don't
It
say
looked
what
like
it is.
pancake batter, I thought,
Yeah,
and they just
whatever it
threw it
is,
on
it
the
melts him.
melted it. I'm guessing some kind of acid or something, and then they pinned his like wrists or was his hands or his wrists to the wall.
They crucify him on the wall, basically, through his
Yeah.
wrist,
Mhm.
and that's how you see him later on. Now, Lucio Fulci's very famous for like writing scenes, like the spider scene and the warlock scene, and then kind of making it fit together, but they really don't. Like
What
you
happened?
can watch what
All right, sorry about that. That was a little glitch for some reason. You glitched out for a second, but it's okay. I don't know. You can help me edit or something, maybe, or you know what? Doesn't matter. We'll just keep it in there because it's real. Like sometimes, there's glitches in life. Oh yeah. So you were talking about he likes to.
he basically thinks of scenes, will
Mhm.
film the scenes and tangentially try and make them fit a little bit together, but they don't need to.
Mhm.
Like the spider scene, it really has nothing to do. Like it's just about that one guy dying.
Yeah, but that spider scene to me was weird because like he was on the ladder, right? And then he fell off, and then there's all these spiders biting. Like why? Like was he like paralyzed? Could he not move? Like why was he just letting them eat him? Like was he just hurt that bad? Was that the thing that was going on?
That's that's how I take it. Once again, he doesn't explain a lot. Like you're just supposed to
It
be
was
shocked and awed.
freaky. It was scary. It was freaky.
Well, let's go with what you wrote down because I've seen it a million times.
When I
But
wrote down, uh, well, I just took little like cliff notes and stuff. I talked about the guy being killed at the beginning. Um, and then there was like a book or something that that girl was reading that think opened the gates of hell or something, right? And
the
burned
book
her
of
face or something.
Ebon, he made that
Yeah,
up for the
Devon.
movie. That's not a real book. He made that up for the movie. And yes,
Oh,
it blinds the girl Jamie. I think if I remember that's her
was it
name.
not Emily?
Maybe it
Was
was
it?
Emily. Okay.
I thought it was Emily that was looking at the book, and it burned her. She
We'll
was
go.
reading from it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to like I just seen it for the first time a couple of days ago.
By the way, the symbol in the movie, you always see that little hook symbol.
Mhm.
That's a tattoo from Lucio Fulci's daughter. He threw in the movie.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some stuff has no meaning in the real world. Like now, there are comic books from the Book of Ebon, but he made that up.
Oh, okay. So the place is like, is it haunted like by demons or something, or like spirits, or um? And is Emily like even? Is she like an actual spirit or something? Like I don't even know if she's even a like real person or something anymore.
She's not real because later on, when she's talking to the doctor, she says, "Well, I was talking to the blind girl that lives in town," and he goes, "There is not a blind girl that lives in town." So she is trying to help her from the beyond, if you will.
Mhm. Yeah, she's like
And
keeps warning her and stuff, right? Like,
yeah, but then her seeing eye dog turns against her.
Yeah, but it's like her dog attacks her, but I'm like, I thought she wasn't even like real. So how is she getting killed? Like, so my brain's very confused when I watch this. Like, I'm trying to put the pieces together. It's a weird, like, strange movie.
Yeah,
Very
you can't
bizarre.
put. There are no pieces. Like, yeah, that dog attack was just something he thought was cool, and it's a nod to Suspiria because it happens in that movie to the blind guy, and yeah, like she's not there, so
Oh, it was very gory. It like ripped her throat or something out, like the dog, right? And I felt so bad. I was
yeah,
like, dude, dog betrayed you, dude. Um, and then there was the zombos or whatever, right? Those people were like zombies, weren't they? Like, and they were like super creepy. Um, uh, the guy with the weird eyes, he reminded me of something I seen in Salute Your Shorts. Have you seen that show?
I watched that show.
Do you remember the plumber guy or whatever? Like there was an episode about the
Yeah.
haunted plumber. It looked like that to me. It was making me think of that old show from Nickelodeon. Um,
Hmm.
and he was like he's a zombie right there. All like it became more like a zombie movie. I think this did.
Yeah, he didn't even want to put zombies in this movie, and the people who they were German distributors made
Mm-hmm.
him put zombies, so you get the hospital scene where the zombies come and he doesn't know to shoot him in the head, and you also get the little girl whose mom accidentally falls down under a vat of acid. That
Hmm.
makes no sense, but it was a cool scene.
There's a
And
lot of
then
stuff that don't make sense in this to me.
sorry. And then the little girl goes blind after her funeral, which is filmed in the same cemetery that Mary Laveau is in down
Oh
here.
yeah, their eyes look weird. Like when they turn blind, they're just weird. Like it kind
It
of
was
doesn't look. It's strange. Like they get weird eyes.
I guess they're contacts, but I don't know too much on the eye thing. But he loves eyeballs. Everybody's
Yeah, he's
eyeballs
got
is
an
taken
eye
out.
thing because there's lots of eyeball deaths. I meant to write down all the ways that people die by their eyeballs, but I didn't. But that's just how like a lot of people died. You know, getting their eyes poked out. You know.
Well, hey, tarantulas don't eat people, but in here they do.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I think it's just because like everything is just kind of like possessed or something. I mean, look at what that girl's dog did. It's like even the animals are going crazy, you know. Whatever it is in that book or that hotel or whatever, it's like just taken over and it's just super evil force, you know. Um and making everybody go batshit crazy.
Well, the whole thing turns out that the name of the movie is The Beyond. The Beyond, which at the end the two stars end up there and they're
It's
blind.
like hell or something or
It's his version of hell, but that's what the warlock is drawing in the beginning.
oh, why would he want to do that?
I guess they're trying to say he sees it and knows about it.
Yeah, but why would he want to bring that, you know, like hell and stuff to it? Like, I mean, I don't get it.
Well, that's the key. Like, why would any of this happen? But it does.
I know, but I'm
But
just saying, like, that, like, whenever they, are you talking about after they killed all the zombies and stuff and they
hmm
leave the building? It's kind of like there's nothing there but like bodies and stuff on the ground like that.
yeah, that's the
That looks
Beyond.
pretty terrible. Like, that looks like definitely like hell to me, you know? Like, what do you even do at that point?
And they're blind, so they don't even know where they are.
Oh, they were blind too? I didn't
hmm
even notice that.
That's one of the recurring things. Like the Emily girl, the little girl whose
The
parents
little girl
die.
went psycho too, remember? He had to like shoot her.
Yeah, they had to blow her head off, which is one of the most famous scenes in the movie.
Really? Ew.
I've
Yeah,
seen
it was
I've seen that
gross.
clip. I've seen that clip all over the place. But he had to. She turned into a zombie person.
Yeah, I know. Um, yeah, the deaths in this are really, really gory, y'all. So, you know, if you're not into gore, I don't know if you can handle it. But it was suspenseful, and I did want to see what happened in the end, you know. So I
hmm
did sit through it, even though I was kind of freaking out a few times. It was pretty scary. Um, the deaths were scary. The spiders were scary for me. I don't like spiders at all. And I
Yep.
definitely didn't like when it ate his tongue out, and so I was like, "Ugh."
And his
It was.
eyeballs, more eyeballs.
I know, and I'm kind of like a wimp. Like, here's the thing: is I watch scary movies, I review scary movies, but I'm actually super scared of them, and I'm just like a wimp. So I was like kind of like covering my eyes a little bit with the spiders. Like, I really don't. I don't do spiders. Like, I mean, I had spiders in my storm shelter, and I'd rather just like die from a tornado than go in there with the spiders. So like, I like have mental problems, I guess, because like, yeah, I can't deal with that at all.
Well, I couldn't warn you about that because I wanted it to be a surprise.
Oh, okay. I see. You're trying to. You know that I don't like spiders, so you're just trying to freak me out.
Well, that and like it's also I laugh at it because of the mechanical spiders. That just kind of
That's true. I did laugh at like the some of them looked like Halloween like props.
yeah,
It was just like, oh, those look like those things you get at, like the dollar store for like Halloween. But there was a bunch of real ones too, though.
yeah. There were real ones mixed in.
It's kind of weird how they did that. They mixed real and fake. It's kind of like, why did they have the fake ones? Like, why couldn't they just use all real ones? Like, you know, I don't know. I don't know why they did that. Maybe just they didn't have enough or something real ones. They wanted to have like tons of them or something.
It was probably
But
cheaper.
it was nasty. And this movie was dubbed, right? So
Yeah, it starts. They put them out like in Italy first and China. So some of the actors are speaking English and they're just dubbed over themselves. When some like the guy who falls off the scaffolding in the beginning,
hmm
he was the set builder on, and the Italian guy, he was Italian who helped find the locations. And Lucio Fulci put him in the movie as a dedication to his help. And he sees the blind girl or whatever and falls off the scaffold.
oh,
He helped
that's
them find that house. He helped them find the downtown location, which it looks like a jungle,
so.
but
What language were they speaking?
some of them are speaking English, some are Italian.
Because like their voices didn't always look off to me. Like sometimes,
Yeah,
like like I'm weird about the dub stuff. Like I usually just like the subtitles, but like I could get past that, especially with a horror movie. You can kind of look past it, because
right.
it's there's a lot of other things going on in the horror movie than just dialogue. There's a lot of visuals. Um, because like, and I watch like tons of you know Godzilla and stuff with my son, and like their mouths don't move right and stuff. So I'm used to it, but I like it's also a thing that's like hard for me to really not get annoyed by it. But like I wasn't really it didn't bother me in this movie. I totally can get past it in this because there's so much visual stuff that's just freaky and you know and there's a lot of questions I feel like I didn't have answered. Like, it was Emily. Did she die in the 20s or whatever? Whenever they first like showed the first scene, um, is she like some kind of spirit or something? And where did this book come from? Who's this warlock guy? Like, there's a lot of other things that they didn't really tell us. Um, that and also like what's up with the zombies? Are the zombies like are those just like the people that died from like the when they open the gates of hell, or like they just die from this evil force and now they're coming back, but they're not them. It's like a spirit in them, like a
This
demon or
you
something.
you gotta look at the character of Joe the plumber, right?
hmm
He goes down and gets killed by the warlock. He's the guy who comes out the tub later, and he's the dad of the little girl.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
And that's why the mom goes in there and lets the acid fall on her, which is funny to me. But yeah, when you're supposed to think that Emily opened the book and therefore the gates are open and
hmm
the zombies show up at the hospital.
She was
But
reading it, right? So that
yeah,
what yeah. Okay.
and just for a little real life, one of the seven gates of hell, which are supposed to be real, the one down here is Mary Laveau, the Voodoo Queen's tomb, or,
Oh, I think I've heard of that actually.
and that's why they go to her cemetery for the funeral.
Do you guys
She's
have
in
like
there.
zombies or something, or is there like zombie legends or something, or I might be
Just
wrong.
well, we have the voodoo version of zombies,
That's what I was gonna say, like the voodoo, like the Haitian type of thing, right?
the Haitian or Haiti, yeah, where they get they get their concoction to make a zombie from the poison of blowfish.
Oh, really? And then is
Yeah,
it like the people come back? Because I've heard legends like this, but I don't know if it's true about how like with the Haitian zombies, they it's somebody that's been dead for like several years, and they'll bring them back, and they'll just use them as slaves and stuff.
they use them as slave labor on farms. They're not like flesh
Yeah,
eating or
they're just
anything
like
like
kind
that.
of
But
like brain dead, right? So they just do what they're
yeah,
told.
well, you can you can look up this one story. It's very famous where this guy died, and 5 years later he showed back up in his village alive and said, "Yeah, they had me on a farm doing their work, and he broke the spell somehow, and then he showed back up in town, and he was declared dead for over 5 years." So that's in real
Oh,
life.
okay. And it's a real like uh story, like a true story.
Yeah, true
Oh
story.
my
I
goodness.
forget, I can't even say his name. It's a little, it's Haitian, but those are not evil zombies where, like in the
Yeah, they're
movies.
not. Yeah, the movies it's always like they're out to get people.
Yeah,
So
those are.
like there possibly is real zombies, but it's more
It,
like
it,
they're like a slave that
yeah, if you
like you
believe in
don't.
voodoo, you
Well,
have to
I don't
believe in
believe in
voodoo.
voodoo, but like if other people do, like I'm sure they can make a zombie. Like
It's kind of like, honestly, Chucky, the horror doll.
Oh,
He's
that was weird. Yeah.
the guy is put in the doll. He uses voodoo to put himself into the doll that becomes Chucky. So it's more of a body thing, but yeah, in this movie though, they are like you have to shoot them in the head. These zombies will just like eat you.
Yeah, these are mean
So
zombies. They're
yeah,
not friendly at all. But I don't know any friendly zombies. I guess maybe the ones you were talking about, the real ones. Like they want to work. They don't want to do anything to anybody. Um, yeah,
yeah. I
these
think
zombies are
American
scary.
cinema ruined the idea of zombies.
Well, maybe they didn't though because they made it like more like spooky and like fun, because maybe it's not like that spooky to think about like, a dead person working on your farm. It's like, yeah, that's kind of creepy, but like, you know,
Oh yeah, The
whatever.
Walking Dead would be a different show if they just worked.
Yeah. Because everybody works, just like get a zombie slave to do all your work for you. That would be kind of awesome.
But the
But
idea of bringing somebody back is pretty spooky.
that's actually the creepy part. Yeah, I'd feel weird about bringing a person back just to be my slave. It's like that's kind of a bummer. So maybe I'd just rather have like a robot or something, like something that's not like, human. Um, but I feel like if it was possible, like on a big scale or something, like we didn't have these isolated incidents, I could definitely see some companies doing something like that. I mean, there's some evil
Yeah,
stuff out there, like wanting to just use people like they're machines anyway. So
right. But yeah, they didn't even want to have zombies in the movie, and the German distributors made them put them in there. So it
I wonder
wasn't going
what
to
it'd been
end.
like without the zombies, though. I thought the zombie part was
Ah,
kind of fun. That was when I got kind of more excited because I love the zombie stuff.
well, that's why they did it, because zombies have always been a big thing. Like we think of
Probably.
it now, like all the TV shows and movies and all this and that. But you know, uh, one of the first movies ever made, White Zombie,
Hmm.
where Rob Zombie got his band name from, is about the voodoo version,
Yeah.
and they come back. So it started there, and then by the time you get to the '80s, this movie's '81. they were just like the show, they're walkers, and you got to shoot them in the head. And
Hmm.
the guy barely figures it out in the movie, by the way, if you notice. Like, he keeps
Yeah.
shooting him in the chest, and it's like, okay.
I wonder what like why that is though. Like with the, it's like you gotta shoot them in the brain. It's like they're kind of just like, I feel like their brains are just kind of like not there anyways. So it's kind of like, why is that like the thing? Like it's
Yeah,
already
that's
like weird that they're alive and they're not like. But it's like, oh, just shoot them in their like brain and then like they're gonna die again. It's kind of like, okay. I don't know,
every
but I don't know
no
when that
every
started.
um I don't know when it started, but the explanation that most movies shows give is that the brain is the last thing to function, so it stays functioning, and that's
Oh.
why zombies have motor skills just to walk and eat. And
I mean,
then if
but
you destroy that,
doesn't it take like just like a couple minutes? Like if you you're unconscious or something, it's like just a few minutes or something. Your brain dead, right? Like I mean, it
yeah,
doesn't take very
that's
long.
real life.
Well, I'm talking about real life and then like the fantasy world. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't apply to the zombie stuff because there's no logic to
Well,
that.
in real life, and I mean, I'm going a little dark here, but they say if you get decapitated, your brain still functions for a couple minutes, and you can turn around and see yourself.
How do you see yourself if you're
If
ahead?
somebody has to do it. Like if somebody cut your head
You
off,
mean like you see everything around you or something for a minute?
yeah,
Or
your eyes and your brain still function for like 5 minutes or so.
I wonder if that's
Now,
real though.
yeah, well, you can't kind of prove it, so
Yeah, I
I don't
know.
know
It's
where
like,
they.
how do you even like observe something like that? It doesn't. I don't understand. So,
It's
huh?
just I call it a theory, but everybody brings it up. Like your brain still functions for 5 minutes,
I
and I'm
know.
like,
I don't even know
well,
how to observe something like that. Like, what do you like? How do you know? I
I
don't
hope I
know.
don't find out. How about that?
Yeah, me too. I don't want to be decapitated. Hope I'm not. Um,
Well, I'm gonna have to lead you to the other two movies that are in this. It's a trilogy, but it's only because of the Gates of Hell thing. But one of the biggest ones is The House by the Cemetery, and uh, I forgot the name of the other one offhand.
is it
But
good?
yeah, well, if you had any enjoyment in this one, it's kind of basically the same. It's all about people, get a house or go to a place where the gates eventually get opened, and zombies ensue or scary things, if you will.
Yeah.
And but in this one, it's supposed to be that hotel, and we plan to do a filming location to show everybody. You can just take a tour of the house. It looks different, it's painted different, but it's the same house used in the movie as the
And
hotel.
it's not like rented out or anything. It's just like just there for the tours.
Yeah, just like our plantation houses, you can just take tour of it, see what's going on. It's fixed up real nice, but it's
Oh,
there.
there's all kinds of like where you live. There's all kinds of like spooky tours and stuff, right? And like haunted houses and stuff, and they do them real
Oh
good,
yeah,
right? Like what I've heard, because my parents used to go all the time to New Orleans, like all the time. They would love going to the haunted houses, and they said that they were like so creepy. Like they were, like you don't know what's real and what's fake, because everything seems so legit. Like paintings moving and stuff, and just all kinds of just really creepy stuff. So, um,
yeah.
yeah, that would be kind of fun to go see what it's all about. Go to the spooky
So
places. I
yeah,
definitely would like to see that house too, because is there still like the little swamp area out there, and or is that just like was that actually real, or was that just like added to the movie?
they filmed in a couple locations and kind of put it together. The house is
Oh, okay.
surrounded by some water, but those oak trees are real. They're still there. This
Mhm.
our famous oak trees in the shots, and the swamp in the beginning where the guys are in the boats with the torches is not
Hmm.
by the house. They filmed that somewhere else,
Oh, okay.
and then they pulled up on the house. But like the bridge that Emily's on with the dog, that's how I get to Max's house from where I live. I have to take that bridge.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. Like, so you just get to see that stuff all the time.
yeah. Like we went when we went by the house, it was just because we were going to the area around it. It's like a little park with boardwalks and a pier, and the river's right by it. But yeah, the movie makes it look like they're deep in the swamp. They're not. It's by civilization. It's really funny. They trick you.
Oh, yeah.
Movie
Yeah, they
tricks.
do. Because, like, I was like, oh, like, I thought it was just kind of like a little isolated area. But I guess it
Nah,
ain't.
it's in a little
Just
state park.
movie magic, I guess. They just do
That's
that
right.
for you.
Yeah,
Um,
because they switch from there to downtown, and it takes like almost an hour to get to downtown from that house. They make it look like it's a hop and a skip away. It's not.
oh, yeah. Well,
Where the
I don't
doctor
know.
lives, or where the
I guess
hospital is.
that's the thing about movies is they could just use all these different sets and these different locations. You don't know where the heck anything is really. Like you don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. Um, you know, when I was a kid, there was a show called Out of the Box, and it was like they put all these boxes together, and I was a stupid little kid. So I thought that when they made that clubhouse, and then when they went inside of it, it's like a wooden set. I thought that's like literally the boxes that they used. Like I was like, how does it look that good? Like it literally looks like a really cool like wooden like set and stuff. Like they made that with boxes. Like I mean I was a little kid at the time, so I'm not that dumb anymore. But like that's what they could do that with shows and stuff. Like the inside of a place is not like what it looks like on the outside, and it's all that kind of But
Well, for anybody who has seen the last three Halloween movies, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends,
it was
the uh,
good.
the
I liked it.
Myers house is rebuilt on a set. That's not a real house. They built it all on a set.
Oh, okay. So, but then the inside is like a set, or like the outside is
Yeah,
like okay.
the real house is like a chiropractor now, and they moved it.
So wait, they filmed like outside. They filmed like the actual house, and then the inside is different. Is that what you're saying?
No, the in the old movies it was a real house, and then
Okay.
people kept going there, and they moved it. In the new trilogy, they built the house in a set, and so even the outside's fake.
Oh, so it's like the whole neighborhood, like a fake neighbor, like a movie set.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
They tricked you, huh? Tricked you again.
It looks pretty damn real. You know
Oh, they did a good job, yeah, but not real.
that last Halloween was actually really good. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't know if I would like it because I'm not the biggest Halloween fan. Like, I do love John Carpenter, but like the first couple of movies are like kind of a drag to me sometimes. Like I feel like they
Yeah.
got a little better later on and stuff. Um, and there were some really stupid ones too, but the last one was pretty good. I
Yeah,
really
they
enjoyed
they
it. It was scary.
he said he wrote that about to be a love story, and that's why you see all the people dating. Like, why is she dating a weird guy? But
Yeah. Well,
that's where they're.
I think people didn't get like she had like stuff in common with him and stuff,
Yeah,
you know. Didn't
it's
matter if he
about
was like
trauma.
married or something. Like yeah, it was about we've been through the same stuff, like it was a like common, you know, common stuff.
Well, to bring it back, that's the funny thing about Lucio's movies. Like, eh, what is it about? Like, he doesn't stick on one thing for too long. Like, yeah, it's about the hotel, but then you get the zombies. That's in a hospital. The little girl changes for some unknown reason after watching
Mhm.
her mom die and her dad die, and they have to blow her head off. Which I love that scene. That's
Yeah,
so great.
it was gross.
It's sad that she had to blow a little girl's head off. I
Yeah,
don't think
it was.
I don't think you could do that these days. Tell you the truth, I don't think you could show that.
Oh, probably not, because like when kids get killed, it's like pretty upsetting, you know.
Like in the
I mean,
beginning of Halloween Ends.
yeah, I felt like bad about that. I was like, oh, they killed some child. That's kind of sad. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I know people usually get more upset about the dog dying, but it's like, I don't know. Like,
Well, this in this movie, the dog didn't die. The dog was helping her with the zombie problem, and then you hear the dog kind of get attacked, and then that's when he comes back and eats her throat.
I know that was brutal. That was totally brutal. Um,
Yeah, it makes no
I
sense,
felt
but
so bad about that because I thought her dog was gonna protect her. You know, I was like, oh, the dog's gonna eat the zombies or something, and then no, totally surprised me what happened.
yeah, he tried to help her, but that didn't pan out. But like I said, that's a nod to the movie Suspiria, where the blind guy in the movie gets attacked by his own CNI dog. That's just
Hmm.
a tribute to that. But
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of gore in this movie, lots of gore. Um, but it was pretty good. It was interesting. Um, and it was I don't understand. I feel like I kind of watched the whole thing. And I'm still trying to put the pieces together. I'm like, what
yeah,
the hell did I just watch? You know. Um, it was it was very fun.
well, I'm glad
Yeah.
you enjoyed it.
Well, I like scary stuff, but I'm scared of scary stuff too. Like, I enjoy it obviously because that's what I do. I review scary stuff, but I'm a chicken. I don't know. I'm scared about that stuff. So probably gonna have
I s-
nightmares about it later.
See, I find that movie not to be particularly scary. It's gore. It's,
I
like
can't get
eye
past the
poking.
spiders. I can't get the eyeballs. They're like, ugh.
He has a thing for that. But yeah, the spider thing makes no sense.
I thought
It
it
has,
was scary. I don't know.
yeah, I don't want that to happen to me. And they do a good job with the effects, but it doesn't add to the story at all. Like that library, by the way, shows up in his other movies.
Oh, really? The spider library. Oh,
The spiders don't come
yay.
back ever, but
Oh, okay, good.
yeah, people go to
I
that
could.
library. As in, like, is it part of that universe? Like, they go in one of the other movies, they go to Georgia. The one and they go to New York, and that library's in New York all of a sudden.
Oh, really?
So, but the
Oh,
library
okay.
keeps popping up, and you're like, does that mean something? Does the book mean something? Because yeah, Ibon he made it up, but it's in all the places, and now you can buy the comic book Ebon Press, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Yeah, if you want
That's
to
kind of
try it at
cool.
home.
I would read them. I love comics. I love graphic novels and stuff.
I believe they continue some of the movie stories a little bit, but they're not like essential reading. But it's kind of like the movie, like they're kind of just about freaky stuff.
Well, yeah, but the fun thing is like when you watch something like that, you don't have to like necessarily like just be so in tuned with it. Like you could get
Right?
like the full story and you can multitask. You could kind of you could
Yeah,
stretch your legs and stuff. If that makes sense.
you don't have to pay attention. Like you don't have to remember everything. It's not
Yeah.
a super in-depth story. It's like you follow the main girl, but she's in all his movies as different characters. So
Yeah.
it's just fun. But I wanted to
Yeah.
throw that at you to see what you would say about something so different.
um, I thought it was I thought it was good, but it scared me, and but I do think it's like worth the watch. And you got to figure out, come to your own conclusions on what the hell just happened. Um, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I want
still
you to
have
see the other movies in
questions
the
about
trilogy.
that book and stuff and that warlock. Like, I don't know. I do. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the other ones too. Maybe we could review those or something if you want to.
Well, we'll keep this going just like this, and you can pick one, and I'll pick one, and I'll throw the other two at you as
Oh, do
we
you
go.
want to do like a double feature thing? like where we
Yeah, I
could.
think this is fun to have one movie and half the other. I think everybody will get a kick out.
And that is kind of fun because then you have to watch my movie, I have to watch yours. Because remember when we used to film like years ago, what would be like you'd pick a movie, I'd pick a movie one week, and now we could
Yeah,
just like watch like tons of movies. So that'd be fun.
and get other people into them.
Yes. And see if the yeah, because remember like whenever we used to do our movie reviews, sometimes we would do movies that nobody really knew too much about, and they would be really excited to go watch them. I
Yeah,
think we should do a whole John Carpenter, like a long video on his movies.
sure.
We should, because
Oh,
he's so great.
yeah, and I think I've seen them all at this point. To tell you the truth,
Yeah, probably me too.
you
But
know,
we
although
could do a whole thing on him.
yeah, because not all of them are horror. So, Escape from New York and stuff like that are just fun.
That's a good one.
Not
Escape
Escape
to
from L.A. though. That wasn't that
Escape
great.
to Escape to New York's really good. Escape to LA was okay, but yeah, you're right. Escape to New York's so good.
Well, fun fact, like
What
he
is the
doesn't
other
like
one?
to do what? That
Big
doesn't help. He
Trouble.
has a bunch of movies. Big
Big
Trouble in Little
Trouble.
China,
That's a good movie. I like that one.
one of my favorites of all time. I have a Jack Burton T-shirt that he wears in the
Really?
movie. I have the tank top he wears in the movie. And The Rock was supposed to remake that movie, and he didn't do it.
Oh, really? Well, I don't
He
think
was
no. I
he was
mean,
going to be
Kurt
Jack, and
Russell.
then look at Jumanji. Like it's okay, but you could have done another idea. Like you could have took an idea of your own, make your own movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the biggest Rock fan. I love WWE, but I don't like The Rock that much. He wasn't really my dude.
Have you seen the new Jumanji with him?
I didn't love it. I did see it.
No,
I
it
didn't
was
love it. I'm
okay.
sorry. I didn't love it. I love like the old one. I love the
Come on,
original one.
they had a Jonas brother in for Pete's sake.
I do
Or
love the Jonas
was
Brothers.
wasn't that guy one of the Jonas brothers that
Was
was
the
in
Jonas
there?
Brother in it? Who was it? Nick.
I know it was the guy they met
I
that was
love Nick
already in the
Jonas.
game who was the pilot. He was the pilot with the bomber
I think
jacket.
Nick Jonas wasn't it, wasn't he? I
Yeah,
love Nick Jonas. Yeah. Um,
he
Jack
did a
Black
great
was
job.
one. Jack Black is funny. I like Jack Black.
He played a woman. What's funnier than that?
I mean, there's funny things about it, but like I don't know. Like it was kind of like a hit or miss for me.
Well,
And
I don't like when they pick movies from like the 80s and 90s and go, "We're gonna redo that," and
I
it's
don't
like pick
either.
your
Like
own
I'm
movie.
I'm a purist, I guess. Like so I'm not really. I just and when they redo Robin Williams movies, I'm always like, it's not gonna be the same.
Yeah, like the new Aladdin didn't hit anybody.
I want to see that movie that his daughter made, that Lisa Frankenstein. You want to watch that?
Yeah, because one of the
It
girls
looks
from
really
Halloween
good.
Ends is in that movie.
Oh, really? It looks really good. The trailer looked
Yeah,
good.
I
I
saw the
love
trailer just the other
Frankenstein.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, if you remember in Halloween Ends, the bullies, the band geeks,
Mhm.
the one girl who tries to climb the fence and gets smashed,
Mhm.
she's in Lisa Frankenstein.
Oh, she's the main girl, like in
I don't
Lisa
know who
Frankenstein.
she is in that. Like they're so
Oh.
dressed up, I couldn't tell.
Well, it was like real '80s looking, which looked fun too.
Yeah, I know she's in there somewhere because I
Yeah.
saw that under her IMDb, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool, and that's how I found it
Oh,
before the
really?
trailer came
I
out.
think I heard about it because I think I follow Zelda on like I don't know like social media or whatever, and she was talking about like directing a movie. I was like, oh, that's freaking Rob Williams' daughter. She made a
Yeah.
movie, so and I watched the trailer. I thought it looked really good. I
Well,
thought it
we'll
looked really
review it to
cool.
tell everybody what we think.
Yeah, we definitely watched that one. Oh, and I need to send you that trailer for that movie. I want you to watch.
Okay.
You can react to it or something for me if you want.
Absolutely. So let's grade the Beyond. What would you give it?
Um, I think I would give it probably a 7.5, only
Okay.
because of like it's just there's some stuff that's so gross to me, and um, it's also one of those movies I don't know if I could watch it again. Like I just feel like I didn't understand what was going on. I did have fun watching it, but I was screaming the whole time and throwing pillows at the TV. So it was like, it was definitely thrilling. I ended up watching it in the dark too. So anytime any of my hair would touch me, I thought it was a spider, so I'd freak out. Um, but yeah, I definitely think it's worth a watch. And then you said it's a trilogy, so you have to watch all of them, obviously, if it's a trilogy. Even if they're not good, like I always watch like all the parts of the movie because I kind of just have to. Um, so yeah, I'd definitely say it's definitely an acquired taste, but it's definitely a movie that you got to see once at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will also give it a 7.5, basically for the confusion of the darn movie. Like, if you watch it,
Yeah.
don't expect to
You don't.
understand it.
You
You know,
don't.
there's barely a through line in it for all the characters, but
Yeah.
they do, like, like I said, little girl's funeral for her mom and dad. The dad is Joe the plumber. You barely even know that
Yeah.
because he pops up as a zombie later on. You're like, okay, I guess. Which that's disgusting. The lady sticks her hand in the tub, and he kind
Oh
of
yeah.
rises out of the tub, and it's like, okay, that's gross.
Ugh.
But
Yeah, it was nasty stuff in that movie. Though. Nasty.
well, there's a lot of people who love those old Italian films. That just, that
Every
gave us.
okay, I've seen other Italian horror movies, and every time I just don't understand. Like, no, like they never make it easy to understand.
Have you seen one of those movies? It's called The Church,
Um, the church.
about
No,
demons and stuff.
no, but I would watch it.
Well, we're gonna put that on the list because that's one of my favorites.
Okay, I've seen
So,
Night of the Demons.
oh, I
That's
love
it.
that movie. Not the
Yeah,
remake, not the sequels.
I'm talking about
The,
the
or-
'80s one. Yeah,
the original 1988 classic.
yeah, I've seen that one a lot.
By the way, speaking of that, the lady who plays Angel in the movie,
Hmm.
she's a pet psychic in real life. She talks to animals.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
cool. That's interesting. Um,
Yeah, you never know. You never know what somebody's going to do later on. But horror cons are really big now with the stars of old movies like, Nancy from Elm Street. All these people are back on the scene doing horror cons.
oh yeah,
So,
it'd be fun to go to one of those horror cons and meet like all these people we used to watch and stuff.
yeah, well, I keep up with them and not many come here at all. And you're in a
Yeah.
small place, they might not come near you. Uh,
No, but Texas they do. They go to
that's
Texas all the
true.
time.
The
We'd have to go to
closest they come to
Texas
me
to
is
see one.
Bastrop, Texas, if you ever heard of that.
No, but I love Texas. I would love to go to Texas. I've been there several times. I love Texas.
Well, as a
I love
Cowboys
all the
fan, I've been to Dallas a
Texans.
couple times.
Oh, really? Yeah, I love Dallas. I've
Fort
been to
Worth,
Dallas. Yeah,
Houston, I've been all those little, cause that's the closer to me. So.
yeah. They have the Ripley's Museum and stuff, and
And
Six Flags, which is fun.
no, that's gone.
They got rid of Six Flags. When did they get rid of Six Flags? I went to Six Flags.
There were two. It's Six Flags over Texas, and then the one in Houston is gone.
Hmm. I didn't know
But
that.
another fun fact: the Texas Chainsaw movies,
Hmm.
the original house, they say that a lot of stuff happened near the Texas Louisiana border. So
Oh, spooky.
yeah,
I
and
never heard that.
we also have the Candy Man. he died on a plantation down here in the movies, even though it takes
Oh, yeah.
place like in the first one's in Chicago, but he's from here. By the third
Oh,
movie, they come here and film here, but it's like, oh great, we have chainsaws and Candyman.
well, I don't think we got anything scary where I'm at. Hopefully not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we just got the octopus,
But
I guess.
but our greatest horror people can go anywhere, like Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers. They can go wherever they want. They just happen to stay in one area.
Yeah, that's true. They they can travel, but they don't. They like to keep it in their own neighborhood, I guess. You know.
Yeah. Did you see the last Scream, by the way, in New York, where they go to New
No,
York?
should I watch it?
I think if you've seen any of them, you would like it. And it's just the same story, dealing with some of the same people. You know.
Well, I was always a fan of the first movie, and then the sequels I never really was into. But I mean, I watched all of them. But the first one's like the iconic one.
Well, the first one's very important to me, and I think you can guess why, because it's somebody who's in the first part of the
I
movie.
know. I already know.
And they tricked us because they got rid of her real quick, but that's how Wes Craven is, or
I know,
was.
but it was iconic though. Like she did like one of the most iconic scenes though. Um, that still lives on forever. So
Yeah,
rest in peace.
yeah, it's funny they're keeping all these, like John Carpenter really has nothing to do with the last couple movies except the music.
Really well, they were good, surprisingly, because
Yeah.
um, but like I said, I never like. I know that people get like weird about Halloween because they love it so much, but I just really never liked the first movie. I always thought it was so like a drag or something to watch. And I always
It
ended up
it
liking
was
the other Halloweens, like the Daniel Harris one. Is that her name? Yeah.
oh
The
yeah,
ones she
that's
was
her
in
name.
were good to me. And maybe it was just because it's like 80s, 90s, like the 70s. Sometimes I'm not into the horror movies at that time. Like, and the
It
first
was
the
more for
first
the people
Halloween,
in that time, by the way.
yeah.
Like the first one's for people who lived in the 70s, where you could be stalked by somebody and never know it, and then something bad could happen. Now with technology, we all have phones, and
Hmm.
you know that that's why the last couple of movies are a little weird for people. But yeah, the first one a lot of people consider boring because
Yeah.
nothing happens for a really long time. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
that's I think that's like the problem for me is I just like I didn't really enjoy that one because of that. I think they got better and then they got worse. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
They got better and then they started getting really crappy. And then the last two, like, they did a really great job. So,
Hmm.
they're interesting. The Rob Zombie ones were terrible.
Well,
You know?
I only like them because Daniel Harris is also in them. Like she comes back as Annie in
Yeah.
his movies.
But then they
But
kill her or whatever. So it's like,
yeah, well now they're making a TV show apparently out of Halloween.
oh, is she going to be in in the series?
Nobody knows what it's about or who's in it yet. But there's a
Oh,
Crystal Lake show coming out about Mrs. Voorhees. There's a uh, the Halloween one. We don't know anything about Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street. But I mean, not Friday the 13th. Well, they had the new Hellraiser movie. I don't know if you saw the new Hellraiser movie.
I seen like half of it. I didn't finish. It was on Hulu, but
It was okay. Like to have like
it's kind of weird though.
Pit.
The girl pinhead. It
What?
wasn't a. It was a girl pinhead, wasn't it?
Hmm. The Hell
Yeah.
Priestess. Yeah.
I don't know. She didn't scare me like like Doug did. I thought
Nah, nobody can replace that.
no, and like that when I was a kid, that was like literally the worst movie to me because I was so terrified of it. My dad kept watching it over and over and over. My dad used to watch a lot of horror movies when I was a kid, and I couldn't stand it. He'd play Hellraiser all the time, and he'd play Exorcist 3, and like both of those movies just gave me the creeps, so they scared me.
Hey, I
I
love
mean, it's
Exorcist
basically
3.
the first movie, like Hellraiser. It's like a dude that doesn't even exist, and he's like starting to come. It's just like it's like the creepiest shit to me. I don't know. You
Well,
know?
we'll get into more of all those later, but we
Yeah.
highly recommend the two movies we talked about today, Ted and Venus and The Beyond.
Yeah.
One is I don't even know what classification Ted and Venus is like. Is it a comedy? Is it a thriller? Is it, it's
I feel
not
like it's like a comedy, thriller, suspense, type of movie.
r-
Um,
romantic thriller.
a romantic. Well, on his side, dude, like she's not feeling it. You know,
Yeah.
you can call it a romantic thriller, I guess, but there's a lot of stalking in it.
Yeah. But I recommend it for people because it's something different. You don't even get those kind of movies today.
No, like yeah, it's definitely there's no other movie like it, so I think it's a definite must. Um, Even if you just want to watch it once, like it's really good. I've seen it a bunch, but um, that's because I just love, I love Bud Cord. I love everything he does.
Yeah. Walter Cox. I keep calling him that. I know he doesn't use that name, but that was Cox is his real last name. So,
Yeah, he's got
but
really pretty blue eyes too. That's
yeah.
the thing I know about him is he's got those really pretty eyes, and he's a great actor. He seems like a really nice guy.
Oh, he's such a very diverse catalog. Like Brewster McCloud with Shelley Duvall, great movie. Love it.
Yeah, that's a weird one too. It's good,
They're
but
all
it's
weird.
it's very
You
weird.
can't you can't tell me Harold and Maude ain't weird.
Oh yeah, but I love that one. That one's so sweet though. I know it's like people think it's gross or whatever because she's old, but I just thought they were so cute. You
Now it
know?
addresses a lot of things that do happen in real life. Like, that can happen. That's
Yeah.
what I like
Well, and
about it.
it
But
showed that it wasn't it was real love. It wasn't like
yeah.
superficial bullshit. It's like they really cared for each other and had a deep connection. So
Well, we're gonna get to that one too. Don't worry. But
yep.
we've come to the point where we're at our old stopping point. It's like I think an hour and a half. Like
Yeah,
we
it
filled
says
up the
it's an
time.
hour and 32 minutes. Wow. I didn't even
But
know if I was gonna be able to like talk that long. That's interesting. I thought I was
well,
only
that's
gonna be
why
able to these like 20 minutes worth of stuff.
better with two of us. We can bounce off each other and get it. So we hope everybody comes back. We renamed everything to the Random Movie Show because we're going to pick random movies, come out on random
Random.
days, right? And we're going to surprise everybody. So we hope everybody keeps coming back for more. So
Yeah, but you do
from
have to hit the notifications. I know you don't like, but I'm gonna say, like, you do have to hit the notifications because it's gonna be so random. You don't know when you'll see
right,
our faces again. So, hit the bell if you want to see us again. If you don't,
and we
that's
hope
fine too.
so. And if
Yes,
anybody has suggestions for movies, we love to take those too.
yes. So, like, if there's a movie that you want us to watch, we'll review it, or a trailer. Should I start doing those trailer reactions too? Or is that just stealing your
Uh,
thing? Stealing your
No,
thunder?
everybody does trailers, but I like doing that because they're short and sweet, and
Okay.
you don't know the whole premise of the movie yet. You just see a little bit of it. But there's another surprise. We can do trailers. We can do movies. Anything that
Mhm.
comes up. So
Yeah.
you got to check out the Hannah Stout channel, and you can come over anytime to the Do Brothers channel where you can see me and some of the other people from the Garden of Fear.
Yeah. And the videos will be on both of our channels. So
Yeah. So you
yeah.
can enjoy it anytime, people.
Okay. Is that
All
it?
right. So,
All right.
yeah.
I guess we'll sign
Till
off.
next time, everybody. Over and out.
Bye.